Hello and welcome to week 4 of Project. Today I'm going to be talking about a lot of different things. So I'm just going to start. So this past week we have been hitting a lot of barriers and some difficult things that we're having to overcome. I feel like as a group, the past couple of weeks of performance have been very difficult for us. I mentioned previously in my other video that we've been struggling with attendance and things like that. And that is proven to be something that's taken a massive toll on our group. It's become very, very difficult to kind of get things done physically. So I feel like I haven't collected a lot of evidence and a lot of kind of proof of me doing the show, if that makes sense. So that's something that we've really, really struggled with, and kind of what I want to talk about is kind of what we've done to overcome that. This week we have rewritten our script about 4 times, and we finally managed to get a final draft of our script, and we've completed it, and I'm going to take you through with what's happening. So like I mentioned before, the beginning of it, the show must go on. We're doing an audition, it gets cut off by Boris Johnson, and we did our first scene, which is phone calls, which is when we're moving our set going straight into isolation. That has never changed, which is really, really cool, which is fine. And then we go into Lloyd's monologue. He talks about how he likes COVID, and no, he doesn't like COVID, he likes isolation because he likes being on his own. He really enjoys it. And then we also go into 38 Planes reprise. This song has changed about 4 times, which has been very, very difficult. However, to overcome that, we have stuck with it. We have stuck with it because it is a song that suits our performance the best, and just because we're finding it difficult doesn't mean that we're going to give up on it, because it'll be great if we get it done. And with that, I have edited all of our music videos, all of our sound effects and everything that we're going to need for the performance. So after that, there's like a phone call, an alarm, and I've edited that all in, which I've never really done before, and doing the tech side of it has been really, really useful to me because I haven't really had any experience, and I think it's a really good skill to have when making tracks for a performance. Before, it would kind of just be a case of screen recording a piece off of YouTube and then turning it into an MP3. I have now edited the levels of it, so making the bass higher or the drums lower and things like that, and I've edited it all together so it all flows, which has been really, really useful. So that's something that's positive that's come out of this week. I then decided that after having some feedback from Liam, he explained to us how we needed more of a storyline. He really liked our idea of isolation and the way that we set it out, but we need to have more of a storyline in order to connect with the characters. So our initial idea was not to talk to each other during our performance. We found that that's really difficult, not only for the audience perspective, but also as an actor's perspective of not being able to physically see someone whilst acting. So that's quite difficult. And he said that it would be useful to do a video call of some sort. So that's what we've incorporated now. We've done a version of House Party, which is something that I know I used when I was in lockdown. And it's kind of just a video place to call people and just have a conversation. And this is where I end up having an argument with Maddie. Maddie's mum in the show is vulnerable to COVID, and I make a really horrible joke about it. And my story is essentially that I really struggled in lockdown. I developed depression, and I've also added the whole idea of being an addict because I feel like that creates a sense of vulnerability for my character as well. And I wanted to add how quickly that could change when being put in a situation where you're not seeing anybody. So I have an argument with Maddie, and I essentially say that all you ever talk about is your mum. Like, get a grip. I'm sure she'll die soon anyway. Obviously, that's a really unkind thing to say. And then we go into my monologue. And then we go into 38 Planes, which is a slower down version of 38 Planes reprise. And it really shows how difficult COVID was during that time. And then we go into Maddie's monologue, and she loses her mum. Her mum passes away because Maddie gets COVID and she passes it on to her mum. And that happens, and then we kind of fast forward to everything changing all of a sudden, and going back into the real world, because that was how it was. Everything changed so quickly, and it went from being from being in lockdown to going straight into normal life. So that's essentially our script broken down. And our objective for this week is to learn it. We need to learn it. I don't think I can stress this enough of how hard it has been without certain people being in. It's been very, very difficult. It's kind of put us at such a disadvantage because we haven't had the chance to run our piece. So we're having to change it quite often. But it's by the by, we push through. I've also got some notes from this week as well, of like how this experience has kind of helped me. I think the past couple of years, there's always a struggle with project, for whatever reason, whether or not that's because you find it difficult, whether or not people don't come in, just a range of things. And I've had experience with that before. And this year, excuse me, not having people in for me has given me an insight to what it can be like in the industry. I think obviously it doesn't necessarily always happen, because if you don't turn up, then you're not going to get your job. But it's given me motivation to kind of push through, even though it's very, very difficult. And I think that's something that I 100% want to take forward, just as an individual, just in life generally. That you can't let people hold you back, and it's really important that you do the best that you can in order to push through, which is kind of, I think, why these video logs are very, very difficult for this project, because we are doing stuff but we're not actually physically doing anything. It's a lot of talking about stuff. Me and Maddie have done everything that we can for writing the script and doing things, but we can't actually physically do anything unless people are in. So I think that's why I feel like I'm at a disadvantage just with recording my progress and what I'm doing as a performer in order to improve. It's just been very difficult. This week we also did Parkway, which is very exciting. That's something to look forward to. I've really been improving my dance, and with my project, my research has been so useful. Sorry, I'm going off a tangent, but my research has been really useful for my project in just understanding what COVID was like for not only people, but also performers. And all my research is on a different section. This is kind of just my reflection videos and what I'm doing. But other than that, you know, project is next week. We've got a couple of days now to get it to a point where it's at a performance standard. But yeah, I've also been doing some rep as well, which is very exciting. But yeah, have a good day. Goodbye.